December 2025 unfolds as a month of transition, consolidation, and strategic redirection, where the cosmic focus shifts from impulsive action towards structured execution and long-term positioning. It's essential to note that these insights are grounded in Vedic astrology, which accounts for the approximately 24-degree difference from the tropical zodiac. The planetary configuration highlights a clear divide between the first and second halves of the month, moving energy from Scorpio's intense, results-driven approach into Sagittarius' broader vision and forward planning. This creates a period where hidden work, careful evaluation, and recalibration dominate the early part of the month, followed by renewed momentum, clearer direction, and action-oriented growth as the month progresses. Saturn turning direct in Pisces on November 28 sets the foundation for December's overall tone. This shift signals a move from stalled introspection to steady responsibility and delivery. Saturn's influence from Pisces brings realism, discipline, and ethical accountability into focus. Matters related to long-term planning, institutional structures, and delayed efforts begin to regain traction, but progress remains measured. This is not rapid acceleration, it is gradual strengthening. Situations that felt stagnant begin moving again, yet with firm expectations of patience and consistency. Jupiter's journey defines the change in outlook during the month. Its retrograde movement in Cancer continues until December 5th, encouraging reflection on stability, security, and foundational choices. During this phase, attention naturally turns to restructuring comfort zones, addressing unfinished matters, and reinforcing personal or professional bases. Once Jupiter shifts back into Gemini, the tone becomes more dynamic. Communication, strategy, adaptability, and knowledge sharing rise in importance. Collaborative opportunities expand, especially where innovation, digital networks, or intellectual pursuits are involved. The trine between Jupiter and Rahu enhances unconventional growth paths. This alignment encourages expansion through non-traditional routes, sharp thinking, and strategic networking. However, this is not a guarantee of instant rewards. It tests judgment, demanding clarity before commitment. Growth potential exists, but sustainability depends on calculated planning and disciplined execution. Mars, Venus, and the Sun forming strong conjunctions in Scorpio create an intense start to the month. This combination amplifies drive, ambition, and the desire for control, especially in matters involving authority, resources, and power dynamics. It can bring productivity and decisive action but may also trigger confrontations if choices are driven by impatience or ego. Once these planets shift into Sagittarius, the energy brightens, becoming more goal-oriented and future-focused. The emphasis moves toward planning, education, long-distance affairs, and strategic expansion rather than emotional intensity or secrecy. Mercury's movement supports this transition. Its time in Libra favors negotiation and balance, while its move into Scorpio sharpens perception, research capacity, and strategic thinking. By the time Mercury enters Sagittarius at the end of the month, communication becomes more direct, focused on vision and growth-related decisions. The full moon in Taurus on December 4th highlights stability, resources, and security. It exposes financial mismanagement, inefficient routines, and misaligned priorities, urging practical correction. The new moon in Sagittarius on December 20th marks a powerful reset point, encouraging the establishment of fresh goals, new strategies, and long-term planning aligned with expansion and purpose. In professional and economic terms, December favors systematic restructuring over impulsive scaling. Projects initiated now benefit from detailed groundwork. Industries linked to education, research, digital communication, finance, governance, and international trade are especially active. Financial decisions must prioritize sustainability, budgeting discipline, and long-range vision over short-lived profit. In personal relationships, December pushes for honesty and maturity. Early tensions may reveal power imbalances or unresolved expectations, while the latter half supports clarity, open dialogue, and future planning. Bonds either strengthen through transparency or weaken where foundations lack stability. Health and lifestyle require structured discipline. Mars' influence demands moderation, while Saturn advises consistency and routine. Preventive care, balanced schedules, and steady self-management prove more effective than reactive measures. Overall, December 2025 is a month of recalibration, strategic realignment, and thoughtful execution. It rewards those who prioritize clarity over haste, planning over impulse, and realism over wishful thinking. The groundwork laid now sets the stage for more decisive progress in the coming months, making this a pivotal period for redefining direction, securing foundations, and reinforcing long-term potential. To accurately assess the impact of these transits, it's crucial to consider your ascendant and moon signs. The ascendant sign provides insights into the timing of life events, while the moon sign reveals how you'll emotionally respond to these changes. Additionally, consider the position of your current Maha-Dasha lord in your birth chart, as it can shed light on how these transits will influence the recurring themes of your current Dasha period. These specific outcomes will depend on individual Dasha periods and how these transits interact with your natal planetary placements. If you are currently in Jupiter's Maha-Dasha period, its transit influence will be particularly prominent. Remember, the effects of these transits vary for each person. Let's explore how they may affect you based on your zodiac sign and the houses they transit. For Aries, December 2025 marks a decisive phase of internal restructuring, external redirection, and practical recalibration. With Saturn now direct in your 12th house and several powerful transits activating your 8th and 9th houses, this month pushes you to confront unfinished responsibilities, refine strategy, and reorient your approach to growth. You are being guided away from impulsive action and toward disciplined planning. Progress during this period is not driven by speed but by structure, foresight, and thoughtful execution. The more consciously you align effort with long-term purpose, the more stable your outcomes become. Career matters carry a tone of responsibility and strategic preparation rather than instant advancement. Saturn, as the ruler of your 10th and 11th houses, remaining in the 12th house indicates that much of your professional energy is working behind the scenes. You may feel that your dedication goes unnoticed or that recognition is delayed, but this phase is strengthening your foundation. Projects linked to foreign entities, institutional environments, confidential operations, or remote collaboration may demand greater attention. This is also a period where you may quietly plan a change in direction, review long-term goals, or prepare for future leadership roles. Jupiter's movement creates a shift in how you approach career development. Until December 5th, Jupiter continues its retrograde in your 4th house, which may pull focus toward internal stability, career decisions influenced by domestic factors, or ongoing discussions around work-life balance. After it moves back into Gemini, attention shifts decisively toward communication, outreach, and skill-based expansion. You may find new pathways through writing, consultancy, marketing, training roles, or strategic negotiations. The Jupiter-Rahu trine opens doors to unconventional opportunities, particularly in digital networks, future-focused industries, or collaborations driven by visibility. These opportunities must be assessed carefully to avoid overcommitment. Mars, your ruling planet, begins the month in your 8th house, adding intensity to professional and personal dynamics. This placement can stir up hidden power struggles, sudden decisions, or pressure around shared responsibilities and authority dynamics. You are urged to avoid impulsive actions, especially in environments involving finance, contracts, or leadership power. After Mars shifts into your 9th house on December 7th, your drive becomes more directed and purposeful. You may feel motivated to pursue higher learning, certifications, travel-based career development, or roles that expand your influence. This movement supports growth when guided by planning rather than force. Financially, December highlights the importance of measured management and realistic planning. The full moon in Taurus on December 4th draws attention to your 2nd house, illuminating income flow, spending discipline, and resource distribution. You may become acutely aware of where money is going and where leakage needs correction. Unexpected expenses may arise, particularly linked to shared finances, insurance matters, or health-related obligations. This is not the month for speculative ventures or high-risk investments. Instead, stability comes through restructuring savings plans, clearing pending liabilities, and prioritizing essential expenditure. Venus transiting your 8th house heightens focus on joint finances and may bring issues connected to taxes, loans, inheritances, or long-term financial agreements into the spotlight. While gains are possible through shared resources, blind trust or casual agreements should be avoided. After Venus enters Sagittarius later in the month, the focus shifts toward planning future financial direction. This is the time to define long-term money goals, explore educational investments, or structure financial strategies linked to career expansion. Conservative planning paired with strategic foresight delivers the most reliable results. In relationships, December brings intensity, testing, and realignment. The congregation of planets in your 8th house during the early part of the month makes interactions more serious and truth-oriented. If your relationship is rooted in mutual respect, this period can deepen trust through honest conversations. Unresolved issues related to control, dependency, or imbalance may surface. This is not a time for surface-level harmony or avoidance. Stability comes through frank discussion and realistic understanding. Mercury entering your 8th house after December 6th brings communication to the forefront, encouraging deeper dialogue about shared responsibilities and long-term expectations. You may be compelled to address matters that were previously ignored. After planets move into your 9th house, the relational tone shifts toward planning, exploration, and alignment of future goals. Couples may discuss shared ambitions, travel plans, or philosophical differences. Singles may encounter someone through professional or learning environments, but lasting connections will require shared principles rather than fleeting attraction. Family matters reflect a need for balance between responsibility and boundaries. Ketu in your 5th house reduces tolerance for unnecessary drama and encourages a more detached viewpoint toward expectations. While this helps protect your focus, it may also create moments of distance. Saturn's influence urges maturity and consistency in how you handle domestic responsibilities. Some of you may find yourself supporting family members through practical assistance, or handling long-pending responsibilities that require measured action. Friendships and social circles experience a practical reshuffling. Rahu in your 11th house expands your network and draws influential connections, but it also introduces unpredictability. You may attract ambitious individuals, but discernment remains essential. Not every opportunity or association is stable. Align yourself with those who demonstrate consistency and shared vision. The full moon's influence encourages clarity regarding which alliances support your progress and which dilute your focus. Health is an area that cannot be ignored. Mars in the 8th house during the first half of the month increases the risk of strain, inflammation, sudden fatigue, or physical burnout if routine discipline is neglected. You may feel compelled to push through exhaustion, but doing so only weakens resilience. Preventive care, structured rest, and balanced lifestyle habits serve as your strongest shield. Once Mars enters your 9th house, physical energy improves, but moderation must still guide activity levels. Overenthusiastic routines or extreme exertion can create setbacks. Digestive patterns, sleep quality, and stress management need special attention. Saturn in the 12th house also indicates the need to consciously manage rest cycles. Irregular sleep or overlooked mental fatigue can impact overall functioning. The new moon in Sagittarius on December 20th activates your 9th house and initiates a powerful period of redirection. This is the most constructive time of the month to define new long-term goals, reset personal direction, and align vision with practical execution. Whether related to career growth, educational pursuits, or life philosophy, changes made during this phase create lasting momentum when backed by consistent effort. Overall, December 2025 is a month of focused correction and strategic repositioning for Aries. Career progress depends on disciplined execution and behind-the-scenes preparation. Financial stability grows through structured planning and cautious resource management. Relationships evolve through honesty, accountability, and clear communication. Family dynamics stabilize through mature involvement and firm boundaries. Health improves when routine discipline and moderation guide daily habits. This period is not about instant acceleration but about securing the groundwork for sustained success. For Taurus, December 2025 becomes a month of serious realignment, where practical decisions, long-term planning, and realistic self-assessment shape your direction. With Saturn now direct in your 11th house and casting its influence onto your sign, the focus turns toward redefining goals, strengthening discipline, and ensuring that your efforts align with sustainable outcomes. This is not a period of shortcuts or effortless rewards. Instead, progress comes through persistence, careful evaluation, and a willingness to adjust structures that no longer support your growth. Career develops under strong pressure to perform with consistency and accountability. Rahu in your 10th house keeps professional ambition high and pushes you toward visibility, authority, and unconventional paths to success. You may feel driven to take bold steps or seek recognition, but Saturn's presence in the house of long-term goals reminds you that achievement must be backed by reliability and structure. Early in the month, The focus remains on partnerships and collaboration, as Mars, Sun, and Venus occupy your 7th house. Work relationships, client handling, and professional negotiations become central. You may find yourself dealing with demanding counterparts or strong personalities, requiring firm yet balanced communication. This phase supports progress through strategic cooperation rather than confrontation. Agreements signed or discussions initiated now carry long-term implications, so clarity is essential. Once Mars moves into your 8th house on December 7th, career matters take on a more serious tone. Behind-the-scenes dynamics, power shifts, and sudden changes in work structure may surface. You are encouraged to remain alert and adaptable, particularly when dealing with confidential matters or leadership hierarchies. Jupiter's shift into your 2nd house after December 5th enhances your ability to articulate professional value, strengthening negotiations around salary, authority, and future roles. Still, measured action is key. Impulsive career moves without solid planning could lead to unstable outcomes. Financially, December places strong emphasis on recalibration and structure. The full moon in Taurus on December 4th highlights your 1st house, drawing attention to personal priorities, resource management, and how financial decisions reflect your self-worth. You may feel more aware of spending patterns and financial commitments that require correction. This is a time to redefine boundaries around money, especially where shared finances or recurring obligations are concerned. Jupiter's transition from your 3rd to 2nd house shifts focus toward income stabilization and smarter financial planning. While opportunities for increased earnings may arise, especially through communication-related work or skilled contributions, expenses linked to household matters or unforeseen obligations may also appear. Prudence is essential. Avoid speculative investments or emotionally driven purchases. Instead, prioritize controlled budgeting, savings discipline, and long-term financial strategies that build security. The movement of planets into your 8th house later in the month draws attention to taxes, loans, inheritances, or joint financial arrangements. This is not a phase for casual financial decisions. Any agreements involving shared resources must be reviewed carefully. Structured planning and transparency reduce the likelihood of complications later. In love and committed relationships, December carries intensity, clarity, and the need for grounded understanding. The first half of the month highlights partnership dynamics strongly, with Mars, Sun, and Venus all activating your 7th house. Attraction and magnetism increase, but so does the likelihood of friction if expectations are unclear. You may feel more assertive in expressing needs, while your partner may also push for greater involvement or clarity. This period can strengthen bonds through honest discussion, provided conversations remain constructive rather than confrontational. After mid-month, as planets shift into your 8th house, relationships move into a more serious space. You may find yourself discussing long-term security, shared responsibilities, or trust-related matters. This is not about superficial affection, but about realistic evaluation of stability. Couples who communicate openly will use this phase to deepen cooperation, while unresolved issues may surface for resolution. For single Taurus individuals, encounters may feel intense but require discernment. Attraction alone is not enough. Shared values and practical compatibility are what determine longevity. Patience and observation prove wiser than hasty commitment. Family matters also require practical involvement. Ketu in your 4th house reduces your tolerance for unnecessary domestic drama and may encourage emotional distance from routine family pressures. While this helps maintain focus, it also requires mindful effort to avoid misinterpretation. Responsibilities linked to home, property, or elder family members may demand attention. Structured communication and calm participation help stabilize household dynamics. Saturn's influence on your personal identity adds a sense of maturity to how you handle family expectations. You may find yourself assuming a more responsible role, especially in planning or organizing domestic matters. While this can feel burdensome at times, it ultimately strengthens stability. Social circles undergo a selective transformation. Saturn in your 11th house draws attention to the quality of associations rather than quantity. You may naturally distance yourself from casual connections and instead focus on alliances that support your long-term development. Rahu in the 10th house brings influential or ambitious individuals into your network, but discernment is vital. Not every opportunity is worth pursuing, and not every connection is reliable. Health requires steady attention and routine-based care. The full moon in your sign encourages awareness of physical well-being and lifestyle choices. Early in the month, the intensity of planetary energy in your partnership sector may produce stress or tension that affects sleep or digestion. Once Mars enters your 8th house, energy levels may fluctuate, increasing the risk of burnout if rest is neglected. Structured routines, regular meals, consistent hydration, and balanced physical activity help maintain stability. The new moon in Sagittarius on December 20th activates your 8th house and marks a turning point for deep recalibration. This is a powerful moment to review long-term financial plans, restructure shared resources, and redefine commitment patterns. It also encourages internal transformation and strategic reassessment of what truly supports your growth. New intentions set at this time hold long-term impact when followed by disciplined action. Mentally, December brings sharper clarity around priorities. You become more aware of what deserves your energy and what drains it unnecessarily. Saturn's influence encourages restraint, maturity, and thoughtful response rather than reactive decisions. This internal shift strengthens your ability to navigate complex situations with calm precision. Overall, December 2025 is a stabilizing and defining month for Taurus. Career progress depends on structured cooperation, responsible leadership, and strategic timing. Financial security grows through disciplined management and forward planning. Relationships evolve through honest dialogue and realistic expectations. Family life strengthens through calm involvement and mature boundaries. Health remains steady when consistency guides your habits and rest is not compromised. This period is less about rapid expansion and more about strengthening your foundations. The effort you invest now builds stability that lasts beyond immediate results. For Gemini, December 2025 opens a month of strategic sharpening, increased responsibility, and grounded self-definition. With Saturn now direct in your 10th house, attention intensifies around professional conduct, long-term career structure, and how reliably you carry authority. This is not a period for casual effort or drifting ambition. You are being asked to solidify your direction through consistency, maturity, and realistic execution. Jupiter shifting from your 2nd house back into your sign mid-month reshapes both mindset and momentum, encouraging you to step into a more confident, visible role while still respecting boundaries and practical limits. Career developments feel demanding yet constructive. Saturn in your 10th house brings a clear performance benchmark, where output, discipline, and accountability determine how far you progress. You may notice stricter evaluation from senior figures or a rise in expectations, especially in roles that require leadership, responsibility, or structured decision-making. While this may feel heavy initially, it creates an opportunity to strengthen professional credibility. Work that involves planning, management, regulatory frameworks, or institutional links sees slow but steady progress. Until December 7th, Mars and the Sun remain active in your 6th house, increasing workload and sharpening competitive instincts. You may feel driven to handle tasks decisively, solve pending issues, and prove efficiency in fast-moving environments. This phase is excellent for clearing backlogs and tightening organization, but it also tests patience. Reactivity or harsh responses to pressure can create friction with colleagues or subordinates. Maintaining balance between firmness and cooperation proves essential. Once Mars enters your 7th house and Jupiter returns to Gemini, professional energy shifts toward partnerships and visibility. You may find yourself engaging in new collaborations, client-facing roles, or negotiations that define your next phase of growth. Jupiter in your sign boosts confidence and initiative, but Saturn's influence demands structure. Any move taken now should be rooted in long-term benefit, not momentary enthusiasm. The Rahu-Jupiter trine opens unexpected avenues, possibly involving foreign associations, advanced learning, or alternative professional directions, but scrutiny before commitment prevents missteps. Financial planning requires careful monitoring throughout the month. The full moon in Taurus on December 4th highlights your 12th house, drawing attention to hidden expenses, financial leakage, or overlooked costs that impact long-term stability. You may notice increased outflow related to health matters, lifestyle maintenance, or operational costs. While these expenses may be necessary, awareness and controlled planning prevent imbalance. Jupiter's initial presence in your 2nd house supports income stability, yet it also encourages generosity or relaxed spending habits if discipline is not applied. Once Jupiter shifts into your sign, focus moves toward redefining personal value and income direction. There may be opportunities for financial growth through new initiatives or skill-based avenues, but restraint is essential. Speculative investments or impulsive purchases are not recommended. Instead, structured saving, budget adjustments, and realistic forecasting provide security. In love and committed relationships, December brings practical reassessment and a need for clarity. The first half of the month emphasizes responsibilities and routine coordination within relationships. Differences around daily expectations, time investment, or workload balance may surface. These moments demand mature discussion and mutual understanding. Instead of avoiding uncomfortable topics, addressing them in a calm, rational manner strengthens stability. As planetary focus shifts into your 7th house after mid-month, relationships move into the foreground. For some, this brings renewed partnership energy, deeper dialogue, or decisive conversations around long-term plans. Those in established commitments may review future direction, shared goals, or lifestyle adjustments. Singles may encounter potential partners through professional or public environments. Venus entering your 7th house enhances charm and interaction quality, yet it also requires realistic expectations. Surface connection without structural compatibility may fade quickly. Clarity around intent, boundaries, and shared responsibilities strengthens relationship outcomes during this period. Family matters require thoughtful handling and controlled engagement. Saturn's aspect on your 4th house introduces responsibility linked to property, relocation decisions, or managing household concerns. You may feel pushed to address long-standing home-related issues with maturity. While this added responsibility can feel draining, it also offers an opportunity to organize family structures more efficiently. Clear communication and logical involvement support smoother outcomes. Silence or avoidance only worsens misunderstandings, so consistent but measured interaction is advised. Social interactions undergo refinement. Jupiter in your sign enhances popularity and presence, drawing attention and expanding reach. This expansion must be meaningful. Not every connection is beneficial, and not every invitation deserves acceptance. You may become more selective about where you invest time and social energy. This filtering process helps align your network with personal and professional ambitions rather than surface-level engagement. Health requires steady focus and routine-based discipline. The early part of the month places pressure on physical and mental stamina, particularly with Mars intensifying activity in your 6th house. Overexertion, irregular sleep, or inconsistent eating patterns may affect energy levels if not monitored. Once Mars moves into your 7th house, physical demand may ease slightly but mental tension linked to interpersonal matters may rise. Balanced scheduling, hydration, and clear work-life boundaries preserve vitality. Avoid sudden changes in lifestyle or extreme approaches to fitness. Instead, focus on sustainable routines that maintain energy without strain. Preventive attention proves important. Small signs of exhaustion should not be ignored, as recovery becomes slower if warning signals are overlooked. Consistency in daily rhythms ensures resilience across the month. The new moon in Sagittarius on December 20th activates your partnership sector and marks a turning point for restructuring relational and collaborative dynamics. This is an ideal time to set new intentions around cooperation, communication style, and long-term joint planning. For some, this may initiate fresh partnership developments or redefine existing commitment structures. Internally, December pushes you to redefine self-image and long-term identity. With Jupiter in your sign and Saturn shaping your career path, you begin aligning intention with disciplined action. This clarity strengthens personal resolve and reduces confusion about direction. You may feel more confident, but true success lies in using that confidence responsibly. Overall, December 2025 brings Gemini a month of structure, self-definition, and practical repositioning. Career growth depends on measured effort, discipline, and strategic partnerships. Financial stability strengthens through controlled spending and structured planning. Relationships evolve through honest dialogue and realistic expectations. Family matters stabilize through mature involvement and structured communication. Health remains steady when routine and moderation guide daily habits. This period does not reward impulsiveness or scattered focus. It supports clarity, purposeful execution, and commitment to real-world solutions. For Cancer, December 2025 brings a phase of adjustment, responsibility, and clear redirection, where practical thinking and steady execution become more important than reacting on impulse. With Saturn now direct in your 9th house and Jupiter shifting from your 1st house to the 12th house mid-month, your focus gradually moves from self-driven expansion toward disciplined planning and long-term correction. This month asks you to review where your effort is going, which commitments are truly productive, and how your daily structure can support sustainable progress. Career matters feel active but demanding. Mars, as your 10th lord, begins the month in your 5th house, strengthening your drive to take initiative, propose ideas, and assert leadership. You may feel motivated to showcase your competence, or take charge of tasks that influence your reputation. This proactive energy can also push you toward haste, especially if results are delayed or feedback feels insufficient. Once Mars enters your 6th house on December 7th, the workload becomes heavier and more structured. Deadlines, responsibilities, and competitive environments demand sharper discipline. You may need to manage multiple tasks simultaneously while maintaining accuracy and professionalism. Saturn's presence in the 9th house supports long-term stability, but only if you stay committed to steady effort instead of seeking shortcuts. Progress may appear slow on the surface, yet this period strengthens your professional foundations. Jupiter's shift from your sign into the 12th house on December 5th changes your working rhythm. While confidence remains, you may feel inclined to step back slightly from overt ambition and focus more on internal planning, skill development, or refining your approach. This is a constructive phase for strategic preparation, especially for roles connected to research, analysis, remote work, or foreign organizations. Opportunities linked to overseas clients, institutional projects, or behind-the-scenes planning can surface. The Jupiter-Rahu trine may present unconventional options, but they must be assessed carefully before commitment. Calculated choices will serve you better than instinctive leaps. Financially, December highlights the importance of restraint and smart organization. The full moon in your 11th house on December 4th brings attention to income, achievements, and financial targets. You may notice progress linked to earlier efforts, such as pending payments clearing or recognition translating into financial gains. At the same time, it sheds light on areas where spending has become unstructured or where reliance on uncertain sources needs adjustment. Ketu in your 2nd house makes you more detached from surface-level comforts, but this detachment can turn into neglect if budgeting is ignored. After Jupiter moves into the 12th house, expenses may rise, especially connected to healthcare, professional upgrades, travel, or essential household matters. This is not a period for indulgence or speculative investments. Instead, focus on disciplined saving, reassessing financial goals, and eliminating wasteful patterns. Venus later entering your 6th house may highlight work-related expenses, but structured accounting will prevent unnecessary strain. The most effective approach now is practical control rather than hopeful assumptions. In relationships, the month brings visible shifts that test understanding and cooperation. Early December, with strong planetary influence in your 5th house, increases romantic expression and attraction. Bonds may feel more dynamic, and interactions more intense. Mars' presence can also create impatience or sharp responses if expectations are not met. It is important to manage how you communicate and avoid turning minor differences into major disagreements. As planets move into your 6th house after mid-month, the emphasis shifts toward everyday responsibilities and relationship logistics. Differences around routines, work schedules, or shared duties may surface. This requires mature conversations and practical compromise. For those in long-term commitments, topics related to time management, financial roles, or lifestyle adjustments become central. Singles may encounter potential partners through professional environments, but these connections should be evaluated through steady observation rather than instant attraction. Clear communication and realistic expectations remain essential. Family life requires balance between duty and personal space. Saturn aspecting your 3rd house may bring additional responsibilities involving siblings or relatives, or situations where communication requires extra care. Discussions may need to be approached thoughtfully to avoid misunderstandings. Ketu in the 2nd house reduces tolerance for unnecessary family drama, making you more selective with your time and attention. While this helps protect your peace, withdrawing completely can create distance. Maintaining practical involvement while setting clear boundaries will keep relationships stable. Social circles also undergo a practical filtering. The full moon in the 11th house clarifies which connections contribute to your progress and which merely occupy time. You may naturally step away from individuals who lack reliability or alignment with your goals. This month supports smaller, more purposeful networks rather than broad but shallow social engagement. Health becomes a priority area that cannot be overlooked. Mars entering your 6th house increases physical output but also raises the likelihood of strain if you overextend yourself. You may feel compelled to push through fatigue or ignore early warning signs, which can lead to longer recovery later. Digestive patterns, sleep routines, and general stamina require disciplined care. Consistent meal timings, proper hydration, and balanced rest cycles are essential. High-intensity routines should be moderated in favor of sustainable patterns. The new moon in Sagittarius on December 20th activates your 6th house and provides an opportunity to reset daily habits. This is an excellent time to reorganize schedules, introduce healthier routines, and address lifestyle areas that have lacked discipline. Efforts made around this period will have long-term impact if maintained with consistency. Internally, the shift of Jupiter into the 12th house encourages contemplation and recalibration. You may prefer solitude at times, using quieter moments to reflect on where adjustments are needed. This introspective phase is less about withdrawal and more about refining direction. When used constructively, it strengthens clarity and prepares you for stronger outward movement in the coming months. Throughout December, your biggest advantage lies in your ability to remain grounded. While certain moments may test patience or create pressure, reactive behavior will only complicate situations. Stability comes from controlled planning, steady effort, and making decisions based on logic rather than momentary impulses. Overall, December 2025 is a month of practical correction and alignment for Cancer. Career development depends on structured effort and consistency. Finances demand smarter organization and disciplined control. Relationships improve through realistic communication and mutual understanding. Family matters stabilize through clear boundaries and mature handling. Health strengthens through routine and moderation. This period does not promise instant change, but it builds a stronger base for sustainable growth. For Leo, December 2025 brings a period of structural change, steady consolidation, and purposeful redirection. The combination of Saturn now direct in your 8th house and Jupiter moving from the 12th into the 11th mid-month reshapes how you handle career priorities, financial planning, personal commitments, and long-term stability. This is a month where surface-level comfort loses importance, and your focus naturally shifts toward building something durable. Decisions taken now carry long-term consequences, so careful judgment, disciplined effort, and a controlled pace become your strongest advantages. Career matters stay firmly in focus, with serious undertones around responsibility and output. Saturn's aspect on your 10th house creates pressure to perform consistently while dealing with ongoing restructuring or unseen challenges within your professional environment. Some of you may feel that work expectations have increased without immediate reward, but this phase is setting the groundwork for authority and reliability. Early December brings heightened involvement in home-based or property-related responsibilities that intersect with your professional life. You may find yourself balancing domestic priorities while managing workplace duties, which can feel demanding but necessary. Mars moving through your 4th house at the start of the month may bring restlessness linked to career decisions influenced by home conditions. Relocation thoughts, changes in workspace, or internal dissatisfaction with current arrangements may surface. Yet reacting hastily will only add instability. Once Mars enters your 5th house on December 7th, professional energy becomes more directed and initiative-driven. You may seek visibility, take creative risks, or propose fresh approaches in your work. While confidence increases, measured execution remains important. Jupiter's shift into your 11th house on December 5th improves networking opportunities and increases the potential for professional support from influential contacts. This is a favorable period for collaborative projects, team leadership roles, and income-linked ventures. The Jupiter-Rahu trine can bring unconventional work proposals or sudden exposure through public platforms, but long-term results depend on how realistically you handle these opportunities. Promises must be backed by consistency rather than enthusiasm alone. Financially, December demands careful monitoring and restructuring. The full moon in Taurus on December 4th highlights your 10th house and draws attention to the connection between income and professional effort. There may be a sense of achievement from past work, but it also exposes areas where expenses have silently increased. Jupiter initially in the 12th house keeps an eye on outflow, especially related to home improvement, medical expenses, or behind-the-scenes costs that don't always appear immediately. As Jupiter enters your 11th house, financial prospects improve through gains, bonuses, or recognition-based rewards. This growth needs controlled management. Impulsive spending or misplaced trust in promising ventures should be avoided. Mercury's role highlights the need for clear communication around financial matters, contracts, and transactions. The most productive approach now is to stabilize savings goals, eliminate inefficient expenses, and build financial discipline that protects long-term growth. In love and partnerships, December brings a mix of attraction, reassessment, and adjustment. Rahu in your 7th house creates unpredictable dynamics, increasing fascination with unusual or intense individuals. Early December sees planetary activity in your 4th house, which may draw attention to domestic matters within relationships. Issues related to living arrangements, personal space, or family involvement may need resolution. There is a desire for reassurance but also a tendency to react strongly if expectations are not met. As Mars, Sun, and Venus shift into your 5th house, romantic energy becomes more visible and expressive. Attraction increases, but so does the need for balanced communication. New connections may feel strong at first glance, yet stability depends on shared values and realistic expectations. Those in long-term commitments will benefit from clarifying future plans rather than revisiting past conflicts. This phase supports progress through maturity, not dominance. Family matters require a grounded approach. The early part of the month places emphasis on home responsibilities, property matters, and household adjustments. You may feel the need to take charge of family-related decisions, which is necessary but should not become controlling. Ketu in your 1st house makes you more introspective and selective, which is helpful for personal clarity but may create emotional distance if not managed carefully. Keeping communication open without unnecessary drama strengthens domestic harmony. Social ties undergo a practical reshaping. As Jupiter re-strengthens your 11th house, friendships linked to professional or long-term benefit become more prominent. You may connect with individuals who influence your ambitions or help expand your reach. The transit of Rahu requires discernment when forming new associations. Not every connection will be stable or reliable, and it's important to observe practical consistency before placing trust. Health and lifestyle require disciplined care this month. Saturn in the 8th house can create a sense of fatigue if routines lack structure. Mars initially in the 4th house may increase restlessness, affecting sleep quality and general physical comfort. After Mars moves into the 5th house, energy levels rise, but so does the risk of pushing beyond reasonable limits. Headaches, digestive imbalance, or muscle strain can appear if work-life balance is ignored. Consistency becomes the key factor. Establishing fixed routines, improving diet quality, and prioritizing rest are essential to maintaining physical resilience. The new moon in Sagittarius on December 20th activates your 5th house and marks a fresh phase for creativity, personal expression, and goal setting. This is a strong period to define new projects, explore hobbies with growth potential, or redirect attention toward activities that improve confidence and life direction. It also supports thoughtful planning around children, education, or intellectual pursuits that contribute to your long-term vision. Internally, December encourages a shift from ego-driven decisions to thoughtful planning. Ketu in your sign reduces attachment to surface recognition and pushes deeper evaluation of self-worth and direction. While this may feel unfamiliar, it strengthens clarity and decision-making when embraced. Overall, December 2025 is a stabilizing month for Leo, rooted in structure, responsibility, and realistic progress. Career advancement occurs through sustained performance rather than quick recognition. Financial stability depends on careful control and strategic planning. Relationships evolve through mutual understanding and controlled expression. Family life stabilizes through practical communication. Health strengthens through disciplined routines and measured effort. This month is not about dramatic transformation but about consolidating your position through maturity and foresight. For Virgo, December 2025 brings a month of recalibration, responsibility, and steady repositioning, where your attention shifts toward partnerships, professional structure, and domestic stability. With Saturn now direct in your 7th house and casting its influence back onto your 1st house, the pressure to act with maturity and clarity in both personal and professional dealings increases. You are being asked to look closely at the commitments you keep, the standards you set for yourself, and the long-term direction of your efforts. This is not a phase for scattered action or casual decision-making. Progress comes through consistency, practical planning, and a willingness to correct weak areas without hesitation. Career matters remain central and slightly demanding throughout the month. Jupiter, initially placed in your 11th house, encourages teamwork, networking, and association with influential circles, but the emphasis lies on results rather than popularity. Professional goals may feel within reach, yet Saturn's presence in your partnership's sector demands balance between collaboration and self-discipline. You may find yourself negotiating roles, redefining job responsibilities, or reassessing how much control others have over your workflow. This period rewards structured effort. Any attempt to avoid responsibility or rely on shortcuts may backfire. When Jupiter re-enters your 10th house on December 5th, career developments take a decisive turn. Visibility increases, and there may be opportunities for recognition, promotion, or greater accountability. This also places you under closer observation. Performance standards rise, and consistency becomes more important than temporary brilliance. The Jupiter-Rahu alignment supports growth through unconventional routes, but it also requires clear judgment. Roles linked to technology, consulting, data management, or intellectual service see positive movement, provided your approach remains organized and methodical. Mars transiting your 3rd house during the first week of December sharpens communication and decision-making. You may feel more assertive when expressing ideas, initiating proposals, or handling negotiations. While this supports progress, there is a risk of coming across as overly forceful if patience is lacking. After Mars shifts into your 4th house on December 7th, attention moves toward balancing professional duties with domestic responsibilities. Some tasks may demand that you operate from home or handle property-related issues alongside your regular work schedule. This dual responsibility requires careful time management to avoid mental fatigue. Financially, December places strong emphasis on planning, correction, and stability. Mercury, beginning the month in your 2nd house, sharpens awareness around income flow and expenditure patterns. You are likely to be more analytical about where your funds are being allocated. This period is suitable for reviewing budgets, reorganizing savings plans, and redefining financial priorities. Jupiter's movement into your 10th house opens potential for increased earnings, but only if supported by steady performance and disciplined effort. Unexpected expenses may arise around home maintenance or insurance matters, especially as planetary shifts activate your 4th house later in the month. This is not a suitable time for risky speculation or impulsive purchases. Instead, you benefit from controlled spending, transparent documentation, and methodical financial planning. The full moon in Taurus on December 4th highlights long-term financial vision, reminding you that stability is achieved through incremental improvement, not dramatic leaps. In relationships and partnerships, the tone of the month becomes more serious and accountability-driven. Saturn in your 7th house places existing bonds under scrutiny, asking for truth, fairness, and balanced effort. If partnership dynamics have been uneven, this month reveals where corrections are necessary. You may feel the need to clarify expectations or redefine limits within personal connections. This is not a period for avoidance or vague promises. Mars and Venus influencing your communication zone early in the month increase interaction and direct conversation. While this encourages productive dialogue, it also requires conscious moderation in tone. After mid-month, as planetary energy shifts toward your 4th house, attention turns to private matters within relationships, such as shared living concerns, family involvement, or long-term domestic planning. Those in stable commitments may find themselves discussing relocation, financial coordination, or joint responsibilities with a practical mindset. New encounters are possible, but serious evaluation is necessary before making long-term decisions. Family life requires a balance between presence and personal space. The shift of multiple planets into your 4th house after mid-month draws attention to property matters, household responsibilities, and long-standing domestic concerns. You may need to address home repairs, family coordination, or changes in living arrangements. While this brings added responsibility, it also offers a chance to stabilize and strengthen your environment. Clear communication and practical planning help avoid conflicts. Social life becomes more selective this month. Jupiter in your 10th house favors connections that contribute to growth, career development, or professional support. Casual interactions that lack direction may naturally fade. This filtering process is beneficial, as it allows you to invest energy in relationships that support your broader goals. Health and daily discipline demand focused care. Rahu active in your 6th house increases the likelihood of overwork or stress-related fatigue if you ignore routine management. Mars alignment intensifies physical drive but also increases the risk of strain if activity levels go unchecked. Maintaining structured sleep schedules, balanced nutrition, and realistic workload distribution becomes essential. Over-reliance on stimulants or irregular habits can affect stamina. Preventive care proves more effective than crisis management during this period. The new moon in Sagittarius on December 20th activates your domestic sector and introduces an opportunity to reset your home environment and lifestyle practices. This is a favorable moment to implement changes that improve comfort, organization, and long-term efficiency. Small adjustments made at this time will support stability for months ahead. Internally, December encourages reflective planning without slipping into hesitation. Saturn's presence urges discipline, clarity, and accountability, while Jupiter strengthens confidence through grounded action. The balance between these two energies defines your progress. You are being guided toward realistic ambition rather than overextension. Overall, December 2025 for Virgo is a month of thoughtful adjustment and steady execution. Career advancement depends on disciplined performance and clear communication. Financial stability grows through structured control and cautious planning. Relationships evolve through honesty and balanced contribution. Family responsibilities strengthen through practical involvement. Health improves through routine consistency and measured effort. This month does not demand dramatic change, but it does demand precision. By sticking to well-defined plans, correcting inefficiencies, and respecting the pace of progress, you build a stronger foundation for long-term success. For Libra, December 2025 introduces a month of firm correction, strategic movement, and clearer accountability across work, finances, personal priorities, and interpersonal dynamics. With Saturn now direct in your 6th house and Jupiter shifting from your career zone into your 9th house mid-month, the focus moves from external validation to structured self-discipline and purposeful direction. This is a period where progress depends not on charm or diplomacy alone, but on consistency, organization, and grounded decision-making. Career matters take on a serious and performance-oriented tone. Jupiter initially ongoing in your 10th house keeps professional ambition high and visibility strong, especially in the first week of the month. Some of you may feel renewed pressure to prove competence or handle responsibilities that influence authority and recognition. There may be moments where expectations from superiors or clients feel heavier than usual, but this period also highlights your ability to manage complex professional responsibilities with maturity. Once Jupiter moves into your 9th house on December 5th, long-term planning becomes more important than immediate status. You may turn your attention to refining qualifications, adjusting strategic goals, or exploring broader professional opportunities such as international projects, advanced learning, or specialized skill development. This is a phase that encourages growth beyond familiar limits, but only if supported by realistic planning. The Jupiter-Rahu trine expands exposure to unconventional work directions, yet it also signals the need for discretion before fully committing. Opportunities that look impressive must still be filtered through logic and long-term feasibility. Mars transiting your 2nd house in the early part of December can create tension around speech and decision-making tied to money or professional values. You may feel more assertive in negotiations, but bluntness may create friction if not controlled. Once Mars enters your 3rd house on December 7th, work activity increases through communication, travel, writing, coordination, or marketing-related tasks. This is a productive phase for proposals and project execution, but careful scheduling is required to avoid overload. Financial matters require sharper discipline and more careful structuring throughout the month. The full moon in Taurus on December 4th highlights your 8th house, bringing attention to shared resources, debts, insurance matters, and long-pending financial obligations. This may expose areas where repayment schedules or financial commitments require urgent revision. Hidden costs or delayed payments can surface, calling for practical resolution. Saturn's aspect on this sector reinforces the need to clear unresolved financial responsibility rather than postponing it further. Venus and Sun moving through your 2nd house early in the month enhance attention toward income security and material comfort. There may be momentary gains or improved cash flow, but this should not lead to careless spending. Disciplined budgeting is essential, especially as unforeseen expenses linked to family or professional upgrades may arise later in the month. As Venus moves into your 3rd house after December 20th, costs related to communication, short travel, or device maintenance may increase. The best approach is steady control rather than indulgent spending. In love and committed relationships, December presents a mix of clarity, adjustment, and practical understanding. Rahu in your 5th house increases attraction toward unconventional bonds or unpredictable dynamics. You may feel drawn to stimulating or exciting interactions, but consistency and stability should remain the deciding factors. The first half of the month may place emphasis on shared financial understanding or value-based discussions within relationships, particularly as planetary activity continues in your 2nd house. After mid-December, as planets move toward your communication sector, dialogue becomes the central theme in relationships. Conversations around expectations, long-term direction, and mutual responsibilities become more frequent. This period supports constructive dialogue, provided you avoid passive avoidance or indirect hints. Direct yet respectful expression leads to better outcomes. For those already married, decisions around upgrading lifestyle or planning travel may become relevant. For singles, potential connections arise through work-related or communication-based settings, but proper assessment is necessary before moving forward. Family relationships require tact and grounded involvement. Ketu in your 11th house changes how you view social obligation within family circles. You may feel less inclined to engage in superficial gatherings or unnecessary interaction. Instead, you focus on matters that require practical resolution. There may be responsibilities linked to elder family members or shared assets that need structured discussion. You are encouraged to maintain boundaries while remaining dependable when genuinely needed. Domestic situations remain relatively stable, though Saturn's aspect on your 3rd house may bring involvement with siblings or close relatives that requires patience and clarity. You may find yourself acting as a mediator or organizer within family matters. While this can be tiring, your ability to approach situations logically helps maintain balance. Socially, December encourages selective interaction. Not all connections are worth maintaining, and your instincts guide you toward relationships that support purpose rather than distraction. Entertainment and leisure are still possible, but you may prefer productive engagement over casual indulgence. This filtering process strengthens your personal circle and aligns it more closely with present goals. Health and physical discipline require attention and routine-based care. Saturn's ongoing stay in your 6th house highlights workload pressure and potential strain if rest and recovery are ignored. Stress may manifest through fatigue, irregular sleep patterns, or minor digestive discomfort if habits remain inconsistent. Mars initially influences your speech and decision-making pace, which can create tension if you push yourself without adequate pause. Once Mars shifts into your 3rd house, mental rest becomes more important than physical overexertion. Balanced routines, regular hydration, and proper sleep patterns remain essential. Avoid sudden changes in lifestyle or extreme fitness routines. The new moon in Sagittarius on December 20th activates your 3rd house and marks a reset point for communication habits, planning routines, and the way you structure daily movement. This is a strong phase to rework schedules, set intentions for skill development, and establish more effective systems for handling tasks. Changes made now show long-term effectiveness when aligned with self-discipline. Mentally, December offers increased focus and strategic clarity. Mercury starting the month in your own sign strengthens reasoning and sharpens interpretation. You are more aware of your priorities and less tolerant of time-wasting distractions. The transition of planetary energy into your communication zone strengthens both insight and execution, provided you stay organized. Overall, December 2025 is a month where Libra steps into a more grounded and structured version of progress. Career development depends on steadiness and performance consistency. Financial security strengthens through disciplined expenditure and smart planning. Relationships benefit from clarity, cooperation, and respectful communication. Family matters stabilize through practical involvement. Health improves when lifestyle patterns remain controlled and balanced. This month does not reward impulsiveness or avoidance. It supports those who approach life with clarity, structure, and maturity. For Scorpio, December 2025 brings a month of strong personal focus, decisive shifts, and steady restructuring of priorities. With several planets moving through your sign at the beginning of the month and Saturn now direct in your 5th house, the emphasis moves towards self-direction, long-term planning, and clearer control over choices that shape your future. This is not a period for passive waiting or vague intentions. The tone of the month is direct, outcome-driven, and rooted in practical action. Career matters remain active and demanding, though the nature of growth changes as the month progresses. With Mars, Sun, and Venus transiting your 1st house early on, your presence becomes more noticeable in professional circles. You may feel more confident, assertive, and willing to take initiative. This can boost leadership potential, but it also carries the risk of appearing overly forceful if your approach lacks balance. Colleagues and authority figures are more likely to respond positively when your confidence is supported by consistency and clarity rather than aggression. Ketu in your 10th house brings a sense of distance from routine career validation. You may question whether your current role truly aligns with your long-term goals, or you may feel less attached to external titles and recognition. This is not a signal to abandon responsibility, but rather an invitation to refine direction. Saturn's aspect on your 2nd house pushes you to stabilize professional income and establish sustainable systems. Work connected to communication, analysis, strategy, or leadership roles benefits from steady focus during this time. Jupiter initially in your 9th house supports career progress through learning, international connections, and expansion-oriented goals. You may receive guidance or opportunities linked to senior figures, institutions, or long-distance associations. Once Jupiter shifts into your 8th house on December 5th, focus turns toward restructuring, confidential matters, and behind-the-scenes responsibilities. This phase supports strategic planning, risk assessment, and preparation rather than visible expansion. Projects that require discretion or deep analysis gain momentum, while overt career moves require cautious evaluation. The mid-month movement of Mars and Sun into your 2nd house increases attention toward professional value and resource allocation. Decisions related to salary, pricing of services, or renegotiation of terms may arise. This is a time to assert worth, but without unnecessary confrontation. Those who manage finances responsibly and communicate clearly will see gradual improvement. Financial matters demand precision and control throughout December. The full moon in your 7th house on December 4th highlights shared resources, agreements, and financial obligations connected to partnerships. Issues related to division of assets, joint budgeting, or contractual clarity may come to the surface. Saturn's influence reinforces the need to eliminate loose ends rather than allowing unresolved matters to continue. Venus and Sun in your 1st house early in the month encourage focus on personal spending, lifestyle upgrades, or image enhancement. While there may be temptation to invest in comfort or appearance, this is best kept within sensible limits. After the planetary shift into your 2nd house, the focus turns to creating stability. Jupiter's placement in the 8th house calls for cautious handling of loans, insurance, and shared finances. This is not an ideal period for speculative ventures or quick profit schemes. Instead, it supports disciplined savings, debt control, and long-term financial organization. In relationships and partnerships, December brings clarity and testing in equal measure. The full moon in Taurus on December 4th creates a strong spotlight on your partnership sector, exposing areas where balance is required. Existing connections may require honest evaluation regarding roles, expectations, and mutual effort. Relationships that have functioned on uneven terms are likely to face correction. Now, this is not necessarily negative, but it does require maturity and straightforward communication. Early in the month, your presence is commanding due to multiple planets in your sign. This enhances attraction and draws attention but can also lead to misunderstandings if your approach appears rigid or overly dominant. Venus in your sign strengthens charm and connection potential, but stability depends on mutual respect and measured interaction. As planets move into Sagittarius and your 2nd house, discussions around shared values, future planning, and financial coordination take center stage. Couples may need to address practical aspects such as resource sharing, household responsibilities, or long-term security. Clear conversation rather than silent assumption will support harmony. Singles may encounter potential partners through professional or social settings, but genuine compatibility should be assessed beyond initial attraction. Family matters require patience and practical involvement. Rahu in your 4th house may create irregular domestic patterns or shifts in living arrangements. You may feel restless about your home environment, or less connected to routines tied to domestic comfort. While change may be necessary, it should be approached logically rather than impulsively. Saturn's aspect on your partnership sector also influences family bonds by demanding clarity and accountability within close relationships. There may be responsibilities linked to older family members, property matters, or household stability that need firm decisions. Although this can feel demanding, it also creates an opportunity to organize and strengthen your foundation. The key lies in clear planning and avoiding unnecessary confrontations. Social interactions become more selective during this period. With Ketu placed in your career zone and Saturn influencing creative expression, you may lose interest in superficial connections and gravitate toward purposeful engagement. You may prefer direct dialogue over lengthy social gatherings. This introspective filtering helps refine your network and align it with long-term aims. Health and physical routine require structured care. Mars in your sign at the start of the month boosts stamina and physical drive, but it can also lead to overexertion if boundaries are ignored. You may feel the urge to push yourself harder than necessary, particularly when work pressure rises. This can manifest as fatigue, muscular strain, or irregular sleep patterns. Grounded routines will help maintain balance. Once Mars enters your second house, attention should move toward improving dietary habits and avoiding impulsive eating patterns. Digestive sensitivity may arise if stress levels remain uncontrolled. The new moon in Sagittarius on December 20th activates your second house and brings a chance to reset financial habits, lifestyle choices, and self-worth patterns. This is a favorable time to establish realistic goals related to income stability, savings improvement, and lifestyle structure. Small but disciplined changes introduced now will have lasting impact. Overall, December 2025 is a powerful month for Scorpio, centered around self-awareness, consolidation, and mature execution. Career growth depends on measured leadership and strategic planning. Financial stability strengthens through disciplined resource management. Relationships evolve through honest dialogue and balanced effort. Family dynamics stabilize through responsible involvement. Health remains steady when routine and moderation are prioritized. This month does not reward impulsiveness or silent resentment. It supports those who act deliberately, communicate directly, and plan with foresight. For Sagittarius, December 2025 becomes a month of personal restructuring, renewed direction, and grounded execution. With Saturn now direct in your fourth house and gradually tightening its influence on your first house, the emphasis shifts towards stabilizing your foundation, clarifying long-term priorities, and strengthening self-discipline. Jupiter's movement from the 8th house into your 7th house mid-month further reshapes how you approach partnerships, career decisions, and personal accountability. This is not a period for drifting or relying on luck. It calls for practical alignment between intention and action, where real progress comes from consistency, clarity, and responsibility. Career matters unfold in two distinct phases. The first half of the month carries a quieter tone, with Mars, Sun, and Venus traveling through your 12th house. During this period, work may involve background planning, confidential tasks, or responsibilities that do not receive immediate recognition. You may feel less visible or more detached from the usual pace of professional interaction. While this can initially seem restrictive, it is a valuable phase for reassessing strategy, preparing for upcoming responsibilities, and eliminating inefficient methods. Saturn's aspect on your 10th house reinforces the need to work steadily and avoid shortcuts. Results remain possible, but they demand structured effort rather than impulsive action. After December 7th, as Mars enters your sign and the Sun follows on December 16th, professional energy shifts noticeably. You become more assertive, proactive, and willing to take charge of situations that previously felt stagnant. This is an excellent period to reintroduce yourself in professional spaces with greater confidence. Strong presence must be balanced with tact. Overassertion or rushed decisions can create friction, especially with superiors or senior colleagues. Jupiter's shift into your 7th house encourages collaboration, client engagement, and partnership-driven ventures. New contracts or professional alliances can emerge, but they need careful evaluation to ensure they align with your long-term direction. Financial planning requires discipline and caution throughout the month. The full moon in Taurus on December 4th activates your 6th house, highlighting expenses linked to work routines, health maintenance, or daily obligations. This may reveal hidden costs or inefficiencies that need correction. Jupiter initially in your 8th house demands careful handling of shared resources, loans, taxes, and pending liabilities. There may be pressure to resolve financial matters that have remained unsettled, especially where joint responsibilities are concerned. When Jupiter shifts into your 7th house, income opportunities can improve through partnerships and collaborative work, but this also increases the need to negotiate terms wisely. Financial decisions must be based on logic rather than optimism. It is important to avoid speculative risks or impulsive spending driven by temporary confidence. Venus moving into your sign later in the month may increase the desire for lifestyle upgrades or aesthetic investments, but moderation ensures stability. Building a structured budget and sticking to it prevents unnecessary strain. Relationships and partnerships experience substantial change this month. With Jupiter entering your 7th house, focus naturally moves toward long-term commitments and relational clarity. Existing relationships may evolve through honest discussions around expectations, responsibilities, and shared future planning. If imbalance has existed, it becomes more visible now, requiring direct but respectful resolution. Early in the month, planetary activity in your 12th house may create distance or reduced interaction with partners. You may appear more reserved or preoccupied with internal concerns. This requires open communication to prevent misinterpretation. Once planets move into your sign, personal presence increases, and relationships regain momentum. Singles may attract new connections, particularly through professional or social environments. Genuine stability depends on observing consistency and shared values rather than surface attraction. Family life leans towards stability through responsibility and organization. Saturn in your 4th house places attention on domestic structure, property matters, and internal household dynamics. There may be obligations tied to renovations, relocation planning, or support to family members. While this can feel demanding, it also offers an opportunity to build a more secure environment. Saturn's aspect on your 1st house reminds you that stability begins with disciplined choices and reliable routines. Ketu in your 9th house brings detachment from old belief systems or rigid perspectives. You may begin questioning long-held principles or changing your approach to life philosophy. While this shift improves clarity, it is important not to dismiss guidance from wise sources entirely. Balancing independence with experienced insight supports better decision-making. Social connections undergo selective refinement. With Rahu in your 3rd house and Jupiter forming a trine, communication channels expand and networking opportunities grow, especially through digital platforms or professional associations. You may feel encouraged to express your ideas more openly or explore new forms of interaction. It is important to differentiate between genuine support and superficial engagement. Health requires structured attention, especially in the early part of the month. Mars and Sun in your 12th house can lead to fatigue, irregular sleep patterns, or decreased physical stamina if routine discipline is ignored. Stress may build silently if you push yourself while neglecting rest. The full moon in your 6th house emphasizes corrective action toward health routines, especially involving digestion, posture, or energy maintenance. Once Mars enters your sign, physical energy improves, but overexertion remains a risk. You may feel motivated to push limits, but moderation remains essential. Sustainable activity patterns, stable dietary habits, and consistent rest cycles will protect your long-term well-being. Preventive care during this period yields lasting benefits. The new moon in your sign on December 20th marks a significant personal reset. This is the strongest point of the month for redefining identity, setting clear intentions, and aligning personal goals with practical reality. It initiates a new cycle for self-improvement, career direction, and personal development. If used consciously, this lunar phase can help recalibrate your approach to both personal and professional life. Mentally, December sharpens awareness around purpose. With Jupiter influencing relational dynamics and Saturn reinforcing discipline, there is a push to move from scattered effort to strategic execution. Clear priorities become more obvious, and distractions lose power over your decisions. This clarity allows you to focus on meaningful progress instead of reacting to temporary situations. Overall, December 2025 is a month of reorientation and grounded forward movement for Sagittarius. Career development grows through structured initiative and balanced authority. Financial stability strengthens through careful planning and controlled expenditure. Relationships evolve through clarity, mutual understanding, and shared accountability. Family life stabilizes through responsible involvement. Health remains steady when discipline and moderation guide daily habits. This month does not reward excess or impulsiveness. It supports clarity, direction, and thoughtful pace. For Capricorn, December 2025 brings a phase of steady recalibration, strategic progress, and disciplined restructuring across career, finances, relationships, and personal priorities. With Saturn now direct in your 3rd house, the focus turns toward purposeful communication, thoughtful planning, and consistent effort. This is a month where advancement does not come through shortcuts or sudden bursts of activity, but through sustained follow-through and realistic execution. Jupiter's shift from your partnership sector into your 6th house midway through the month also changes the tone of daily responsibilities, placing emphasis on efficiency, performance, and practical self-management. Career developments unfold with visible activity, especially in the first half of the month. The cluster of planets moving through your 11th house strengthens teamwork, collaboration, and professional networking. You may find yourself more engaged with group projects, leadership roles, or organizational planning. There is potential for recognition through collective efforts, but this also increases the need to manage group dynamics carefully. Mars in this area adds drive and urgency, which can be productive when directed constructively, yet problematic if impatience overrides coordination. Once Mars and the Sun move into your 12th house after mid-month, career energy shifts more toward background planning and behind-the-scenes activity. You may feel less visible externally, yet more involved in refining strategy, preparing long-term initiatives, or resolving matters that do not immediately attract attention. This is not a setback, it is a preparatory phase that strengthens the foundation for future progress. Saturn's influence ensures that the work you do now, although quiet, carries long-term value. You are encouraged to remain disciplined and maintain structure even when appreciation is not instant. Jupiter's movement into your 6th house on December 5th draws attention to performance, routine efficiency, and task management. You may be assigned additional responsibilities or find yourself expected to deliver more precise output. While this increases workload, it also improves the scope for professional growth. Tasks demanding analytical skill, organizational clarity, or problem-solving ability are favored. If you approach this phase with consistency and clear structure, professional credibility strengthens significantly. Financial matters demand attentiveness and reform. The full moon in Taurus on December 4th highlights your 5th house and draws focus to discretionary spending, creative investments, and speculative tendencies. This phase reveals where money usage has been driven more by impulse than long-term planning. You may feel the urge to indulge in entertainment or lifestyle comforts, but it is advisable to keep spending aligned with sustainable goals. Rahu in your 2nd house intensifies the desire for material security and financial growth, yet it also creates fluctuating decision-making patterns if discipline is lacking. There may be increases in income or opportunities connected to performance bonuses or group ventures, but unpredictability also exists if financial strategy is not clearly structured. As Jupiter moves into the 6th house, expenses linked to work obligations, health maintenance, or routine upgrades may rise. Clear budgeting and financial structure remain critical to maintaining balance. After planets shift into your 12th house later in the month, there may be costs linked to travel, professional training, or unexpected responsibilities. Rather than viewing these as losses, approach them as strategic investments if they contribute to long-term stability. Avoid speculative ventures or emotional spending patterns. Your strength this month lies in controlled financial planning and practical restraint. In relationships, December encourages a realistic and steady approach. Jupiter's initial presence in your 7th house highlights the importance of cooperation, dialogue, and clear agreements. Existing partnerships may come under review, not in a dramatic way, but through grounded assessment of mutual responsibility. You may become more aware of where balance is missing or where practical coordination needs improvement. Relationships that function on clarity and mutual respect strengthen, while those based on vague promises require correction. Once Jupiter shifts into your 6th house, relational focus moves toward shared responsibility, daily structure, and routine coordination. Differences around workload distribution, time management, or financial alignment may need discussion. This phase does not support avoidance, it supports patient negotiation and pragmatic solutions. Singles may encounter potential partners through work environments or collaborative settings, but commitment decisions must be made carefully, based on long-term compatibility rather than immediate appeal. Family matters revolve around responsibility and internal structure. Ketu in your 8th house can bring changes in how you perceive family roles or shared resources. You may feel less attached to outdated routines or traditional expectations that no longer align with your reality. While this can create moments of detachment, it also offers clarity and transformation. There may be conversations around inheritance, property matters, or shared finances that require calm and practical engagement. Saturn's influence over your communication sector highlights the need for thoughtful interaction with younger siblings and close relatives. Responsibilities toward family members may increase, especially those involving organization or planning. Maintaining patience and clear boundaries prevents unnecessary strain. While you may carry significant responsibilities, your grounded approach allows you to manage them effectively. Social interactions also undergo refinement. The strong planetary activity in your 11th house early in the month brings opportunities for networking and engagement, yet over time you may become more selective. You begin prioritizing connections that support progress rather than those that simply fill time. Health and routine discipline require steady focus. Jupiter influencing your 6th house highlights the importance of maintaining structured habits and balanced workload. Overcommitment can lead to fatigue if not managed wisely. Mars initially increases physical stamina but also raises the possibility of pushing yourself beyond healthy limits. Once planets move into your 12th house, energy levels may fluctuate, making rest and recovery equally important as productivity. Consistent sleep patterns, disciplined meal schedules, and regular physical movement are essential. Irregular routines or extreme efforts can weaken resilience. The new moon in Sagittarius on December 20th marks a turning point for internal reset, personal reflection, and restructuring of lifestyle patterns. This lunar phase supports introspection and strategic recalibration, allowing you to establish more efficient routines and refine long-term goals. Overall, December 2025 evolves as a month of pragmatic development and purposeful correction for Capricorn. Career progress depends on reliability, coordination, and disciplined effort. Financial stability strengthens through careful planning and controlled spending. Relationships improve through realistic dialogue and balanced responsibility. Family matters stabilize through structured involvement and calm decision-making. Health remains steady when discipline guides habits and rest remains prioritized. This period rewards patience and foresight. It discourages impulsive choices and short-term fixation. For Aquarius, December 2025 unfolds as a month of recalibration, strategic repositioning, and strengthened self-control. With Saturn now directing your 2nd house and Rahu continuing in your 1st house, the focus moves toward redefining personal stability, refining priorities, and improving decision-making patterns. This is a period where progress is driven not by speed or impulse, but by controlled execution and realistic assessment. You are being asked to take ownership of your value, your direction, and the systems that support long-term security. The more disciplined your approach, the more reliable the outcomes. Career matters remain one of the most active areas this month. The early phase, dominated by the cluster of Mars, Sun, and Venus in your 10th house, increases visibility, responsibility, and performance pressure. You may be entrusted with critical tasks, leadership roles, or projects that place you directly under observation. This combination increases drive and ambition, encouraging you to push harder and aim higher. It also increases the risk of overexertion or unnecessary confrontation if impatience takes over. The most effective approach lies in blending firmness with tact and ensuring that your actions align with long-term goals rather than momentary dominance. The first half of December may involve tight deadlines, increased expectations from superiors, or involvement in high-stakes decisions. While recognition is possible, it arrives only when performance is consistent and measured. Once Mars moves into your 11th house on December 7th and the Sun follows on December 16th, attention shifts toward long-term goals, organizational networks, and strategic planning. You may find yourself engaging more with teams, professional circles, or groups that influence your broader ambitions. This phase is favorable for forming alliances, initiating collaborations, and expanding professional reach, provided that agreements are clearly defined and realistically structured. Jupiter's shift from your 6th house into your 5th house on December 5th improves problem-solving capacity and introduces opportunities linked to creativity, advisory roles, and leadership-based initiatives. This also requires balanced judgment, as overconfidence or excessive optimism can create miscalculations. The Jupiter-Rahu trine expands visibility and networking potential, but any opportunity that promises quick success should be evaluated cautiously. Sustainable progress remains rooted in organization and consistent effort. Financial management becomes a key focus this month. Saturn in your 2nd house encourages discipline in income handling, savings, and expenditure patterns. This transit compels you to take a closer look at how resources are being managed and whether current habits truly support long-term stability. There may be moments where existing financial systems feel restrictive, but this pressure helps build stronger foundations. Sudden changes or corrections in cash flow may occur, especially if previous budgeting has been inconsistent. The full moon in Taurus on December 4th activates your 4th house, highlighting expenses related to home, property maintenance, or family responsibilities. You may need to allocate funds toward household upgrades or address pending domestic obligations. These expenses are not necessarily negative, but they require practical planning. Avoid impulsive purchases made purely for comfort or status. The more structured your approach, the smoother the financial flow. As Jupiter moves into your 5th house, there may be potential gains through creative ventures, speculative planning, or intellectual projects. Restraint remains essential. This period does not favor risky investments or emotional spending patterns. Venus shifting into your 11th house later in the month may increase social spending or leisure-related expenses, but disciplined control ensures that financial balance remains intact. In relationships and partnerships, December introduces a phase of evaluation and structure. Ketu in your 7th house reduces tolerance for superficial or unstable connections. You may feel less inclined to invest in relationships that lack depth or long-term purpose. Existing bonds are likely to be tested around shared responsibilities, values, and practical cooperation. This is not about dramatic confrontation but about recognizing what works and what needs adjustment. Venus and Sun influencing your 10th house early in the month place attention on how relationships intersect with professional life. Work-related relationships, including those with business partners or close colleagues, may require rebalancing. Once planetary energy shifts to your 11th house, interaction becomes more outward and socially oriented. Couples may focus on shared goals, planning future growth, or aligning career ambitions. Honest dialogue and realistic compromise become essential during this phase. For singles, potential partners may emerge through networking or social circles, but consistency and shared outlook should guide decisions. Family dynamics require steady engagement and thoughtful boundaries. The full moon in your 4th house may bring clarity to domestic matters that have been quietly building. Issues related to property, living arrangements, or shared responsibilities may require open discussion. Saturn's influence encourages structured involvement rather than avoidance. While you may feel inclined to assert independence, cooperation remains necessary to maintain stability. Strong communication and practical planning strengthen family cohesion. Social interactions take on a more selective tone. Rahu in your 1st house increases visibility and presence, drawing attention toward you in both professional and personal circles. While this expands social reach, not every connection deserves equal attention. You may naturally gravitate toward networks that support growth and distance yourself from those that lack purpose. Health and daily routine require consistent care. The early part of the month brings heightened pressure from professional responsibilities, which can translate into physical strain if rest is ignored. Mars in your 10th house increases activity levels, but pushing the body beyond reasonable limits can lead to fatigue or minor strain. Once Mars moves into your 11th house, the pace may ease slightly, but discipline remains necessary. Saturn's influence over your financial and physical sectors also highlights the importance of maintaining stable eating habits, hydration, and rest cycles. Irregular routines or extreme lifestyle changes are not advisable. Instead, focus on gradual improvements, such as setting structured meal timings and improving sleep quality. The new moon in Sagittarius on December 20th activates your 11th house and marks a reset point for future vision and goal setting. This is a favorable period to redefine objectives, strengthen professional plans, and bring clarity to long-term aspirations. It also supports the initiation of new projects, provided they are built on realistic foundations and consistent effort. Overall, December 2025 presents Aquarius with an opportunity to strengthen personal authority and stabilize direction. Career growth is driven by disciplined action and consistent performance. Financial security improves through structured planning and careful control. Relationships benefit from honest evaluation and shared responsibility. Family matters stabilize through practical involvement and steady communication. Health remains steady when routine discipline and moderation guide daily habits. This month does not reward impulse or shortcuts. It supports maturity, clarity, and strategic planning. For Pisces, December 2025 becomes a month of firm self-discipline, strategic restructuring, and visible redirection of goals. With Saturn now direct in your own sign, the focus sharpens on accountability, personal conduct, and long-term stability. You are being pushed to reassess how you present yourself, how you manage responsibilities, and how effectively you translate plans into action. career matters evolve in a way that demands both patience and confidence. The early part of the month places strong planetary activity in your 9th house, highlighting themes of planning, expansion, learning, and guidance. You may find yourself reviewing long-term career goals or reassessing your professional direction. Opportunities linked to higher education, specialized training, consultancy roles, or international connections may surface. This phase encourages strategic preparation rather than immediate leaps. It is a time to realign methods, update skills, and clarify where your efforts are best invested. Mars here pushes ambition and initiative, but impulsive decisions should be avoided in favor of deliberate action. As Mars and the Sun move into your 10th house after mid-month, career focus intensifies significantly. Visibility increases, responsibilities expand, and expectations from authority figures rise. You may find yourself in positions where leadership, decision-making, or public performance becomes unavoidable. This is a moment to demonstrate professionalism through consistency and reliability. Jupiter aspecting your career sector supports growth and expansion, but only if supported by steady effort. Quick recognition is possible, yet long-term success depends on tangible output rather than presentation alone. Saturn's aspect on your 10th house reinforces the need to stay realistic about professional timelines. Any attempt to rush progress without groundwork may lead to setbacks. Instead, the most productive approach lies in persistence, discipline, and incremental advancement. Those who stay committed to their objectives without distraction will find this month strengthens their professional foundation. Financial matters demand structured planning and cautious handling. The full moon in Taurus on December 4th highlights your 3rd house, drawing attention to spending habits linked to daily needs, short travel, communication, or equipment upgrades. There may be expenses associated with work operations, transport, or practical necessities. This lunar event reminds you to control minor but frequent expenditures that silently affect overall stability. Jupiter initially in your 5th house brings potential for income through creative ventures, side projects, or skill-based initiatives. Speculative choices should be avoided, as overconfidence may lead to unreliable outcomes. After Jupiter moves into your 4th house, financial focus shifts toward property matters, home-related expenses, or long-term family responsibilities. There may be increased spending linked to domestic improvements or structural upgrades. These costs should be approached strategically, ensuring they align with long-term stability rather than temporary comfort. Rahu in your 12th house signals hidden expenses and occasional unpredictable outflows. This placement makes financial awareness critical throughout the month. Maintaining a detailed budget, avoiding impulsive purchases, and planning in advance prove essential. Saturn in your sign supports disciplined handling of resources, and when used correctly, it strengthens long-term wealth management. In relationships and partnerships, December introduces a phase of clarity and grounded reassessment. Saturn's aspect on your 7th house shifts focus toward responsibility and realistic expectations within partnerships. Existing bonds may require deeper commitment or clearer role definitions. This is not a time for vague promises. Relationships that rely on mutual effort strengthen, while those based on imbalance demand correction. Venus and Sun transiting your 9th house early in the month influence relational thinking around shared values, future planning, and belief alignment. You may find yourself discussing long-term direction, lifestyle expectations, or personal growth paths with a partner. These conversations are beneficial when approached with calm reasoning and honesty. As planets shift into your 10th house, relationships intersect more prominently with career priorities. You may need to balance professional engagement with partnership responsibilities. Singles may encounter potential connections through work environments, learning settings, or travel-related interaction. While attraction may feel strong, long-term stability depends on consistent behavior and mutual vision rather than momentary interest. This period supports relationships that grow through shared direction and reliable communication. Family dynamics require practical involvement and thoughtful boundaries. Jupiter moving into your 4th house enhances focus on domestic stability and family structure. There may be responsibilities linked to property matters, parental involvement, or household organization. While this increases duty, it also offers the chance to strengthen your living environment. Saturn in your sign encourages maturity in handling family affairs, making you more decisive and less tolerant of unnecessary complications. You may feel the need to establish clearer rules within your domestic space, particularly if previous boundaries were unclear. This effort, though challenging, creates a stable foundation for future harmony. Communicating intentions openly and maintaining consistency helps reduce friction and reinforces trust. Social life becomes more selective this month. Rahu's placement encourages withdrawal from unnecessary interaction and highlights the importance of being cautious about where your energy is invested. You may choose to spend less time in large gatherings and more in focused, purposeful engagement. While this may reduce casual networking, it strengthens meaningful connections that support growth and stability. Health and physical routine require structured care and discipline. Saturn in your sign can bring a sense of heaviness or fatigue if routines are neglected. This is not a period to ignore rest signals or push through exhaustion. The early part of the month sees Mars in your 9th house, increasing physical activity through travel or extended effort, but this also heightens the need for controlled pacing. Once Mars moves into your 10th house, workload and stress levels may rise further. This can affect sleep patterns and general stamina if boundaries are not respected. Establishing fixed routines, consistent hydration, and balanced meal schedules becomes essential. Avoid extreme fitness efforts or sudden lifestyle changes. Ketu in your 6th house can support recovery through disciplined habits, but may also create moments of neglect if routine attention is lacking. Preventive care remains the most effective approach. Regular checkups, rest intervals, and mindful work pacing protect overall stability. The new moon in Sagittarius on December 20th activates your 10th house and marks an important shift toward renewed goals and professional renewal. This lunar phase supports fresh beginnings in career direction, responsibility management, and strategic ambition. It is an ideal moment to set practical objectives, refine long-term plans, and redefine personal standards. When supported by Saturn's discipline, this energy becomes a powerful catalyst for meaningful progress. Overall, December 2025 becomes a month of serious consolidation and steady repositioning for Pisces. Career growth unfolds through consistent effort, disciplined leadership, and structured planning. Financial stability improves through controlled spending and responsible management. Relationships evolve through clarity, shared responsibility, and alignment of long-term intentions. Family matters stabilize through clear boundaries and thoughtful involvement. Health remains steady when routine discipline guides daily habits. This is not a month of impulsive expansion but of careful construction. The effort invested now strengthens your foundation and positions you for reliable growth in the coming months. As we conclude this episode, please keep in mind that these insights are based on the Sidereal Zodiac system used in Vedic Astrology, which differs from the tropical system by approximately 24 degrees. These are general predictions. The real impact depends on your dasha cycles and your individual birth chart. For a personalized analysis or consultation, feel free to reach out. If you found this video valuable, please like, share, subscribe, and turn on notifications. And now, you can also hype this video to boost it within the community. Your support helps this knowledge reach more people who may benefit. Thank you for watching. Stay aware, keep learning, and keep shining bright.